It's a blessing to welcome on one of the newest members to UNLV, Justin Webster. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Pretty good. Let's kind of hop right into this because you've had a really successful first 2 years in college, making the move out to Vegas, coming back in and playing at the Mountain West. So kind of walk us through right now. How you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling blessed. I'm blessed to be in this position to be able to play in the Mountain West and play with a great group of guys. So I can't wait to finally get out there and build this thing up and get back and get UNLV back to the way it's supposed to be.
Without a doubt. Well, we're gonna get more into all UNLV stuff on the end of this, but I want Rebel fans to get to know you a little bit better. So I know you're back home right now, so kind of walk us through like what's it like growing up out there in Texas?
Man, it was a blessing. I mean, Dallas is one of the best cities in the world. I'll always say that. I feel like it's the best city in the world, but being able to be in this, big city and played against, a whole lot of top players, growing up and, you know, maintaining relationships all throughout, lower school and all the way through on and seeing some of my boys in the NBA now, it's just been a blessing. So I love it out here and it's definitely a place that I would consider coming back to and living for the rest of my life.
You mentioned a key piece there because in terms of basketball, Texas as a whole is one, if not the best state. But when you break it down because of how big it is into each kind of city, Dallas obviously is one of the better cities in the entire country as well. So in terms of the basketball atmosphere out there, like what was like being a part of that growing up?
It was great. I'm playing against some of the best players, in the world. Like you said, like Dallas is a big city, so it's always bringing out the best talent. So being able to go through that, my whole basketball career being in Texas, it was a blessing.
Who were some of the guys that you enjoyed going up against, like throughout your high school career when you played them in AAU? Because the guys from Dallas or from Texas in general, like who are some of those guys that you love going up against?
Um, I love going against Tyrese Maxey. Of course, he's with the 76ers. RJ Hampton. I went against Chris Harris Jr. He plays at Oklahoma State. He's been injured the last couple of years, but it was always good going against him. And Avery Anderson, he's at Oklahoma State too. So it was always good matching up against those guys because, we had been, close and played against each other, ever since we was little kids. So it was always good going against them.
So when did basketball really get put in your hands? Like I know your dad obviously played in the NBA. We'll talk about that in a second. But like when did you first start playing the game?
Man, I started playing when I was like two. Like that's when like I really started working out and really started loving the game. So it started when I was very very young.
I just said your dad obviously played in the NBA. He was a second round draft pick, all conference team out there playing in Oklahoma. What was it like having him in your life, just in terms of the basketball world, like kind of helping you through the recruiting process, learning the game, developing? How big was he in your life and your development?
He was great. He was a very big piece. He's been places that I want to go. He's been a McDonald's All American. He was a very great collegiate player and got drafted and played the NBA. So, he's done all the things I wanted to do. So, growing up and, as a little kid, you don't really understand why parents are so hard on you at the time. But, now looking at it, I understood why he was so hard because he could see something in me that I couldn't see. And it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing for him to be my father and it's been a blessing for him to teach me, everything about the game.
Is there one memory specific? Like, do you have a memory that kind of comes to mind first time when you think about your dad?
Um, man, it's a lot of memories. I can remember my sophomore year when we played in the EYBL, we struggled that whole sophomore year. So going into my junior year, it's my last AAU season. Some of the guys had some of the guys that had been with us for so long had left us because they counted us out. And
Mhm.
me and my dad are very competitive, and we think a lot. And so us putting our heads together and really believing in each other and trusting each other and making and knowing that that junior year will be the best year for us by far. It's a memory I'll never forget. We came out that junior year and we really shocked a lot of people, and it really showed the bond that me and my dad had and how much it carried on the court.
Have you guys played on one on one? Do you guys still do it today?
I played my dad one on one a long time ago, but he don't play me no more. He's gotten to that certain age where he won't even touch it no more.
Without a doubt. Well, let's kind of head into that freshman season for you because you just decided to go out there to Prestonwood and you really created an incredible first 3 years out there and nearly scored 2,000 career points. But walk us through the decision to like, why is it the school you want to attend for your first 3 years of high school?
I mean, I had been at that school ever since I was ever since I was a little kid. Julius Randle had been playing there. Mickey Mitchell, Zach Peters. Guys had always been there. So I always had grown up and see those guys play. It was always in my interest to play at Prestonwood and win state championships like they did. So it was kind of like it was no other choice. Like I was gonna go there and I was gonna do what I do best. And I'm glad I stuck with Prestonwood for the first 3 years.
So if I were to ask, told you before you started your playing high school basketball that you're eventually going to go down and score nearly 2,000 career points, you're going to get 2 state championships, you're also going to go to play Division I and eventually play at UNLV. Could you ever imagine all that unfolding?
No, I would have thought you was crazy. I have a lot of confidence in myself,
Mm-hmm.
but being a freshman, it's hard being able to play as a freshman. But after my freshman year, and I seen how much I played my freshman year, and in my sophomore year, how easy the game became, and how my skill set overlooked a lot of people. Then I started believing in myself, like, okay, like I could definitely play Division I level, and I can definitely be a top guy in the Metroplex.
So when it all kind of came together, then like how much more did you see yourself kind of unfolding? Because like I said, you scored 2,000 career points, but when would you say kind of click? Like, was there a certain game, certain moment that you started saying, okay, I really can be a Division I player, or was it kind of just over time?
Um, I would have to say something 8th grade is when, because my parents never let me play my age group. They never
Mhm.
really let me play 7th and 8th grade. So that was my first time actually playing, my grade level. And so once I played my grade level, I realized how much, how high my skill set was compared to other people I was playing against. So
Mhm.
going into high school, I was like, okay, like if I keep working at this, keep being focused, Division I is not too far away. So middle school is when Division I really came into my mind.
So let's go to that freshman season. You guys go 33-7, and like I said, you walk away with the state championship. Obviously, that's anybody's goal, but what was that freshman season like for you?
It was great. I was the only freshman starting with all seniors, and all those seniors graduated that year. But it was great. It was a great group of guys. We went out and competed every night. My freshman year was a lot of fun. We won a lot of games. It was a lot of fun, and being able to end it with a state championship, there's nothing better than that. So,
For your first 2 years, you were with Coach Laval. What was it like playing for him, and what was he just like as a coach for you?
um, Coach Lovell was a great coach. He really believed in me. He really trusted in me. He, every time he would see me, he always had this big smile on his face. So, I loved all the confidence he gave me, and it's something I'll cherish forever.
You then head into your sophomore campaign. You still went to state championship again, 18-9 record this time. What was that sophomore year like for you?
Sophomore year was very hard. That's when I really realized, what it took to be a leader and how hard it was to, carry a team to a championship. I put a lot of pressure on myself day in and day out to go out there and perform because I feel like, all the people that believe and trust in me, I can't fail them. So um, being able to go out there and win that state championship my sophomore year through all the obstacles, through, all the hardships that we went through, it was very special. I tell people by far, my sophomore year was one of my favorite years because, that team was so close and everybody counted us out because they didn't believe that we had the same players as we did my freshman year, which was true. We was kind of, we was kind of short, and we didn't really have the skilled guys that we had my freshman year. But we all came out and we competed, and we all wanted the same. We all wanted to win a state championship at the end of the day. So that was a great group of guys and something I'll cherish forever for sure. And I love those guys.
That's a pretty young age for you because you're only a sophomore. Like you said, you had to take on that leadership role, which a lot of guys wait till junior, senior year to kind of take on. Was it someone that kind of helped you grow into that role? Was it just yourself just saying, okay, I need to take this over? Coach kind of helped you grow into like what allowed you to grow into a leadership role right out the gate as a sophomore?
It was I was the only player that had played varsity the year before. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like basically automatically going into a leadership role. So I had to get everybody prepared for the varsity level and tell them like what to expect. So um it was something that I just kind of grew into and had to kind of, shift my mind to because, there's different players that like to be coached. Some players want you to tell them how it is, and some players, you have to be kind of, gentle and kind of tell them like, look, I just need you to be better in this category. You know what I'm saying? So it was something I had to grow into, and it was very tough because I had never, led a team like that before. So, but being able to do that really prepared me for the rest of my years going on through high school and in college.
Then was a coaching change heading into your junior season. Take us to that a little bit. Like that's obviously not always easy for a lot of guys to have a coaching change. So how did you adjust to that, and what were your thoughts on when the coaching change happened in high school?
Um, I really love Coach Level.
Mm-hmm.
I really thought he was going to be there throughout my whole high school career, but he has goals just like everybody else has goals. His goal is to
Mm-hmm.
be a Division I coach. So, I respect him for having his goals and him trying to go achieve it. So, I was very supportive in what he wanted to do. And, when we got our second coach, Coach Conrad, he was a great guy. He had came, he had been at the college level as well. He had been at Tennessee Chattanooga. So, just listening to him, listening to what all he had to say, and picking up little things and just picking his brain, was good for those couple of years that we had him.
So you go out there that year, and it's probably your best overall stat year: 21 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a little over a steal per game as well. Walk us through your junior campaign.
My junior year, my sophomore year after we won the state championship, we won it, but I didn't really feel like I had did enough in the off season to prepare myself for that long sophomore, that long grind of the season. So, throughout my junior year before the season started, I was waking up, 6 o'clock in the morning, lifting before class. Lifting before school, getting to school, going through 8 hours of school, then going through practice, and then staying after practice and getting more shots up, getting more reps up, and then getting home, 6, 7 o'clock at night. So, it was just a grind for me because I was preparing myself because, we want to win the state championship and I want to do it again. I want that feeling again. So, by far, like you said, my junior year was my best year stat wise. It was a very fun year for me. A lot of teams were showing me a lot of respect as the way they was guarding me and stuff like that. But my junior year was my best year, but it was also the hardest year. Although we had some of the same guys returning, everybody knew who we was. So it wasn't, we wasn't going into games and nobody knew who we was. So it was very hard to, try to get these guys and get them to understand that, look, like everybody's like all these teams scout now, like they know what you guys can do. So, you have to try to find ways and you have to win in different ways. So, I loved my junior year. I wish we could have won a state championship, but, kudos to the team that beat us, that won it. They was a very good team and it was very hard to beat them. So, I'll always cherish my junior year with those guys. And, we always sit back and we always talk, what if we could have did this and, all those type of things. So.
Before we talk about your transition out to Hargrave, going to Dallas real quick, when you look at the entire past, let's say 5-6 years of overall guys that come out of Dallas, born and raised there, who would you say would be like your dream team? If you got your starting 5, we'll talk about the bench after that, but like what's your 5-man starting lineup from guys from Dallas?
Okay. I would say Tyrese Maxey.
Mm-hmm.
I would say RJ Hampton. Mm-hmm. I would say Cade Cunningham. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember, his name is Marquise Bolden. He was there my freshman year. Mm-hmm. He was at DeSoto. And then I would put myself, honestly, I just felt like, although, all these guys was overlooking me and stuff like that, I just felt like, I deserved to be in the category with them. But, everybody has their own viewpoints. But if I have to give you a top 5, that's who my top 5 would be.
So if you're going to put together like a rotation wise, give us like your point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, and then we'll go about your bench after that. But give us how you're going to look your first start for the starting lineup.
I'm going to go. Oh, that's tough. I'm going to go Tyrese at the 1.
Mm-hmm.
I will put RJ at the 2, Cade at the 3, Drew at the 4, and Marquise at the 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then off the bench would be me, Avery Anderson, Chris Harris Jr. Bryce Cook. You know who Bryce Cook is. Bryce Cook. And I'll put, one of the new guys, Keontae George.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have a nice 10-man rotation right there.
Like you just said, that's another new guy up and coming. Obviously, he's doing his stuff in 2022. He's probably going to be top 3 before it's all said and done. But talk about some of the young guys. Obviously, you're back home right now. You're probably hearing about that. Like, who are some of the young guys from Dallas that's up and coming that you're looking forward to seeing?
Keontae, of course. Keontae is an excellent scorer. My dad and them recently just played him. I was able to watch his game. I hadn't been able to watch him since he was younger.
Yeah.
First time being able to watch him, strong and bigger than what he was. So he's definitely going to be a top 3 guy. Like I said, he can score and shoot the ball very well. He's now turned his mindset and he can defend too. So it's been great watching him play. Cason Wallace, who plays on my dad's team. Yeah. He's a two-way guy. He can score, he can defend. There's a kid named Cruz Davis. He committed to Oregon State. He's going to be a very good player. Cameron Cohen, he plays with my dad as well. He's a versatile big that can block and dunk everything.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is there? Who else is in the Metroplex? Rylan Griffin, very long and athletic. Jordan Walsh, very long and athletic as well. A lot of those guys, there's a lot of Bryce Griggs. He's going to be a very interesting guy to see growing up because, his ties with James Harden and how well, he can play and handle the basketball. So it's going to be very interesting seeing these guys, go through their senior years and go through college. So I can't wait to watch them keep on growing and keep on playing the way they're playing.
So we're talking big cities because that's obviously for Texas, we could put them as one of the best states. Obviously, they're a lot larger than most states, but we're looking at just pure cities. So you probably got Houston's a big city out there in Texas for basketball. Obviously, Dallas is, and you got Brooklyn, you got different places across the country that's got a lot of talent. Where are you ranking Dallas up in terms of cities?
I'll put Dallas number one. I think, we have a lot of people that's playing great basketball right now. Julius Randle, he's, I feel like he should be in the MVP race, but people have their different opinions as well. So, he's really came back and he showed people what he was about. I've seen that Julius at Prestonwood. I just was trying to figure out where it went, and finally I'm able to see it again. So it's been great seeing him play. Tyrese Maxey. It's a lot of great players coming out of Dallas now, out of Texas in general. So, they might not rank Texas number one right now, but here in the foreseeable future, I will definitely believe that we'll be number one.
Absolutely, man. Well, let's get back into your high school career because you then decided to take your senior route, decided to make the big move that a lot of guys have been starting to do, and that's take a post-grad year or take a prep year where you're able to go play a national schedule, play against top guys at practice in that environment. So you got that at Hargrave, you got that at Virginia. Take us to that decision. Like, why is that the place you wanted to go, and why did you decide to obviously move on from your school and head out there?
A lot of mistake people always say is, they was like, oh, so you did a post-grad year. I was like, no, I just left for my senior year. Like, I just felt like it was my best interest to leave in my senior year. And I went and played with the postgraduate team. Mm-hmm. So, that was, moving away from home was very hard. It was a very hard decision, but I felt like it was in my best interest to move away from home because people wasn't really giving me my credit for playing at Prestonwood. They felt like, it was too easy and I'm just making it look too easy. So I said, why not, try to do something different. So I finally decided to do something different. My parents was all on board with it. They was being very supportive about it. So, I met Coach, we played Peaks Jam. Oh, no. We played at Boo Williams, the last session before in May. And Coach Martin and Coach Messenger had came and saw me play. And I didn't even know they was there, to be honest with you. Like, I didn't know until the fact I didn't know until we got home and they called my dad talking about, I heard Justin's looking for another school. Like, would it be interesting coming here? So we end up going and taking a visit there, within the next 3 or 4 days. And although I knew it was military and I knew it was going to be hard, I trusted Coach Martin and Coach Messenger and those guys and being able to, and for them putting me in positions to be successful. And so going there was difficult. Like I said, having to leave my family for the first time, them being without me for the first time, seeing my mom cry when I was leaving, seeing my sister cry when I was leaving. It was very difficult, but it was something I wanted to do and I felt like it was something that I needed to do. So, waking up 7 o'clock in the morning every morning doing military stuff, was very difficult. It was like the part I hated the most, but it all disciplines you. It all comes back full circle. And I'm so glad I made the decision. I feel like everybody should take a year to do to be away from home and do like a prep year, or maybe not even a prep year. Like, I'm saying, just go there for your senior season. I feel like it would be in everybody's best interest to do that because I feel like it prepares you for college and gets your mind. It helps you go through things that you'll go through in college. And so I was a lot more prepared for the college lifestyle when I went to Hawaii. So I'm so grateful that they gave me the opportunity to go there and play that national schedule and be around a great group of guys. And it was something I'll cherish forever.
You mentioned a key piece there, and I completely agree that guys taking that prep year, rather it be for your sophomore, junior, or for your 1 year at senior year, just playing that level because it's two aspects to it. One is obviously you're playing against the top guys day in, day out. But probably the biggest thing, in my opinion, is the practices. Each day you get out there, you're up against a whole lot of guys that can be playing college basketball next year. So what was that environment like? Because you had some special guys on that team. Obviously, Devontae's out there. He's trying out to George Mason right now. You got Jeremiah out there. You got a whole lot of guys. Everyone pretty much went Division One that team. So what was that atmosphere like? Just practicing against those guys day in, day out.
Hey, the practices was off the chain.
Mhm.
Um, we all talked our mess. We all talk trash. If you ain't come in ready to practice, you was gonna get embarrassed. That's just how it was. Devontae Ticket, he always ran his mouth. Jeremiah always let you know what was happening. Tyson Jackson always let you know what was happening. Mickey Pearson always let you know what was happening. So if you didn't bring it, like Giovanni Santiago, he always like if you wasn't on your stuff, he was letting you know. So it was just a great atmosphere to be around, and great to be around those guys. And the bond that we created on and off the court was amazing. And I love those guys forever. And as much as I hate to say it, I wish I could be back with those guys. Maybe for just like a week.
Mhm.
But I love those guys, and I love the moments that we all shared throughout the year.
Would you say that kind of gave you a lot more trash talk nature when you're with them, or just kind of already have that coming into the situation?
No, I definitely got it from them. Coming from the school I came from, I was very quiet. I was just like more so just look, I'm gonna just let my game speak for itself. But sometimes you have to let more than your game speak for itself. Sometimes you have to run your mouth, but then also let your game speak for itself as well. So I definitely got it from those guys. Those guys, challenged me every day, and it was very fun.
Out of all the guys you just listed, who's the best trash talker out of all of them?
Ticket game, Devontae. He was the ultimate trash talk. I'm telling you, before practice even started, he running his mouth. I'm telling you. But I loved it. He's a funny guy, and he always wanted to compete, so I loved it.
You also mentioned a key thing that your parents always wanted you playing up. You never really played your age limit for that many years, and you did the same thing like you said for high school. You went and played post grad, guys that are a year older, maybe even 2 years for some guys. How much did that push you, and like what was the reason behind that? Like you decided to play up most of your career?
Well, I got held back in the first grade, so my parents always felt like it was going to be a disadvantage for me if I played my grade level. So
Mhm.
they never let me play my grade level. I always played a year or 2 years up. Growing up throughout my lower years, I played 2 years up. So I was first grade playing third grade, second grade playing fourth grade, all that type of stuff, all the way until I got to about middle school. And
Mhm.
so it brought out the competitive nature in me because as a young kid, you hate to lose. You hate to see guys better than you. But at the time, that's just how it was. And it really helps you change your mindset into like, I have to get better. Like if I want to be better than him, I have to keep on working and keep on getting better. So, my parents putting me in a position to play up and play against older guys, really helped transfer my game and really helped me get to where I'm at today.
So with that, you guys go 38-4, obviously a very successful team. You average 16 points per game, but just kind of walk us through your senior year.
My senior year, it was very fun. Like I said, it was a lot of traveling. We played a lot on the East Coast. We played a lot of different teams. We played Huntington Prep. We played Oak Hill. We played, a lot of great caliber teams. So it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a challenging year. My first two games of my sophomore year was bad. Like it was horrible. Like I think I shot like I think I was like 1 for 14 or 1 for 15 my first two games. So I started off very slow, but once I was able to get comfortable and I believed in what the coaches were telling me, everything started, coming full circle, and the game started becoming a lot more slow, a lot easier for me. And overall, my senior year was a great year. I wouldn't trade it for the world. If I could go back and do it over, I would, because I loved being around those guys and being around my coaches. So overall, my senior year was a great year. And I just missed that experience that I had.
Then you decide to go through your recruiting process, and you ultimately come to the conclusion that Hawaii is where you want to spend your college career, at least your first 2 years now. But what led to the decision? Like, why was Hawaii the school you wanted to go to?
I had been very under recruited. I had felt like my whole high school career. Never really knew why that was. I felt like I had proven myself on every level. I had proved myself at Prestonwood, on the EYBL circuit, at the prep school now. So I felt like I had proven myself everywhere that they wanted me to, prove myself at. But they still wasn't giving me the benefit of the doubt. So, one school that was very hard on me was Siena College in New York. And, what people don't know is Hawaii didn't actually come around until like a week before I went to take a visit to Siena. So like I went and took a visit to Siena, and then that following Monday, or like I finished, like I went on a visit from, what was it, Friday to Sunday at Siena. And then I went to Hawaii, I think Wednesday to Friday, something like that. So everything was very quick, but I trusted Coach Gannett and his coaching staff. I loved them. Coach Jacobson, who was the one that recruited me before he left and went to Cal Baptist. He was a great guy. He told me, they showed me ways they was going to use me. They showed me how they was going to challenge me day in and day out. So eventually, I came down to satisfy, and it's Hawaii as well. Like, you can't really beat Hawaii. And they had brand new everything, brand new facilities, brand new locker room. Court was, refurbished. It was great. So I believed in those guys. And eventually my decision was to go to Hawaii. And I'll say 10 times out of 10, it was like one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life.
Walk us through how it works out there, because obviously it's really far distance from the rest of the other teams in the country. So I know you guys kind of typically play in California, but kind of take us through, like, how do you guys work out the practices, going from campus to being in California, like traveling, like how does it all work being a player at Hawaii?
Man, it's ridiculous. Like, so pretty much when we're practicing, there's other college games going on pretty much. Cause we practicing at 2 or 3 o'clock, when school's over, and games on the mainland start at 6, 7 o'clock. So it was very hard to catch any games I wanted to watch. Pretty much the only games I would be able to catch is the West Coast games, because they play later. But being able to be around campus, being around, being on an island, being able to practice and play on an island was, an unreal experience. Something I'll cherish with me forever. But the traveling was like, we're flying back and forth. Each flight is 5 hours. So we're going to California, which is a 5-hour flight there. And then coming back is a 5-hour flight as well. So it's a beast. The traveling is a beast. And so pretty much when we play in California, we'll leave. We'll leave on Tuesday and we'll come back Sunday. So pretty much we're gone from school for the whole week. And that's every other week. So it was very hard to, stay on top of your schoolwork, making sure that you're taking, certain exams and all that type of stuff. So it was very difficult, but, we had great guys around us and great guys who were willing to help us. And the teachers always understood what we was going through and understood how hard it was. So they helped us out a lot as well. But it was, it was very hard, but, something that, I won't ever forget.
For freshmen, you come in, you obviously put up 9 points per game, 2 rebounds, assists, nearly a steal per game. Really solid for a freshman. There's not many guys that put up those kind of numbers. And also you start 9 games that year, 17-13 record for the team. But what was that freshman year like, and how are you able to come out so acclimated and so ready to go right at the gate?
I believe it's just like I said, Hargrave really prepared me for it. I really knew what to expect. I didn't really know what to expect, but I kind of had a clue of what I was getting myself into. Mm-hmm. So, in college, it's a different grind as well. And that's kind of what Hargrave prepared me for, like conditioning days, weight room every day, going through an hour, 2-3 hour practices. Like, it really helped prepare me for, Hargrave really helped prepare me for what I was going through Hawaii. So when I came to Hawaii, I feel like everything was just natural. I had been away from home already. So I wasn't every night, like not sleeping because I missed home, you know what I'm saying? Everything just became very natural. It was just very full circle for me. I believe I just put together I just believe I was very focused and my mind was set on the right things and I was able to go out there and do what I did. And, growing up with my parents, they always made sure that I was on the right path. They always made sure I stayed focused and whatever I did, because they know what I'm trying to accomplish and what I'm trying to do. So them having my support and me going to Hargrave was obviously what led me to have the freshman year that I had.
You have a few big games I want to touch up on from your freshman year. One of them is your 18-point game. All of it came in the first half too for you, but you went out there to UC Riverside. You guys got the win. What was that night like?
That night was actually that whole day was actually kind of crazy because, so I really so in one of my classes, I wasn't turning work in. So obviously my teacher emailed my coaches and was like, look, Justin's not turning his work in. If he doesn't turn his work in, he should consider, not taking this class. So I'm not even I completely forgot about the class. I'm gonna be real with you. I completely forgot about the class and our assignments. Mm-hmm. So I get there and my coach sends me a text message talking about, I need to meet you in the lounge. I'm just like, what could this be about? And he telling me I heard you haven't been on school and all that type of stuff. So I'm sitting there like, man, so I'm frustrated already because I forgot about this class. So now I'm trying to make up this schoolwork and trying to get a nap in before the game and all this type of stuff. So So I ended up doing some of the school. I didn't finish all of it, obviously, but I ended up doing some of the schoolwork. Then I took a nap. And I forgot to set my alarm. And so I woke up and it was like 5 minutes before we had to leave. Like my roommate came and my roommate came and was like, bro, you not up? Because my roommate had left to go to another room. And he was like, bro, you not up? Like we have 5 minutes before we have to leave. So I'm just sitting here like, man. So I threw everything on so quick, man. And I got on the bus. Like I'm still looking like I'm tired. Like I just woke up and everything. So we get there. I'm trying to warm myself up. Like I'm still asleep. Like I'm still drowsy. So I'm trying to warm myself up. And I'm thinking like everything that happened, like everything that has happened throughout the day, I'm thinking I'm not about to play. Like that, my whole mindset was like, I'm not about to play. I'm going to sit here and watch everybody play. I'm not about to play. So I'm like, my whole mindset was based on I'm not like, I'm going to stay ready, but I'm not about to play. I know I'm not about to play. But then, coach called my number and I go out there and I remember the first thing I did, they always try to take away my right hand, which to me, I like going left more than I like going right. So they took away my right hand, and the first basket I got was a layup. Then I came down the court. We ran a high ball screen. I got another layup. So I said, okay, I'm starting to feel it a little bit. Then I came off a screen and hit a three, and I was like, okay. I might have it going. And then from that point on, every time I touched it, I just let it go, and the ball was just falling. The ball was just going in. I mean, there was nothing you could do about it. And so, that game, like that whole day was very like, it was an emotional roller coaster day for myself because all the stuff I had been through, before the game and then in the game. So it was just a great moment to be in.
So the key for you then is to basically go through the craziest day beforehand and then you have a career high then?
Man, it was unbelievable, bro.
So then you head into the offseason. We know that COVID comes into effect and it shuts everything down. So what was your mindset? Because I know each athlete kind of approached that differently, saying that, okay, we have a certain amount of time, we're locked in. Hopefully some guys have a gym, some don't. But what was the biggest thing you keyed in on? Like saying, there's not much team stuff. It's just me, myself, and I. I have to go out there work. Like what was the biggest thing you keyed in on this past offseason during quarantine?
Staying in shape. You never knew when somebody could attract COVID. You never knew when somebody within your team could attract COVID. And you have to be locked up for 14 days. So, man, it was always that mindset of like, I have to do whatever I can to stay in shape. So in my apartment that I stayed in, they have a weight room upstairs, which was closed for the first part of, COVID, but it started opening back up, and which was like allowing 5 or 6 people in there. So, after every practice, for the most part, I was going up there and I was running for at least 30, 45 minutes. Although my legs are tired, my legs are shot, I know that at any point in time, somebody could get the virus, and we'll be locked in for 14 days. So, really, keeping my conditioning level up, keeping my strength up, doing push-ups, doing sit-ups every day, trying to keep my strength up, and also at the same time maintaining focus. We still have to watch film, we still have to prepare for certain practices and certain games. Like there was a lot more scrimmages within our practices this year because of we wasn't able to play. So, it was always watching those scrimmages and, preparing for, when our first game was, which was conference, or which was, a couple games, a couple D2 schools in Hawaii. But those were the key things I honed in on, was like keeping my focus and making sure I stayed in condition and making sure I was ready for, whatever our situation was about to occur.
And also Hawaii probably had the most strict in terms of all the U.S. states, in terms of guidelines, restrictions. I know they had like a 14-day quarantine to come into the state. What was that like? Kind of just discuss overall the state regulations and the restrictions that the state put on to everyone.
No, I understood it. At the same time, I didn't. I understand that, it's a small island and you don't want too many people getting it. But there became a certain point where I felt like they was overdoing it. Like, we're athletes and all we're trying to do is get better because, we want to perform. We want to make the school. We don't only want to make ourselves look good. We want to make the school look good as well. And really, like, there was times where, they wouldn't allow us to get in the gym and get in extra work. We can only be in the gym for a certain time. So it was very hard. Like, it was very hard for me to get any extra work in. And so, like, I would find myself going to a park, shooting at a park. But, it's a lot different because, you're trying to stay off of concrete as a basketball player. It's very bad for your knees. So, it was that aspect of COVID was very hard for me because I'm a guy that loves to work and loves to be in the gym, and them like restricting us from being in the gym really hurt a lot. And really, like, we wasn't even able to get into the weight room as well. So how can guys continue to get stronger when, we're not lifting? How can guys continue to get better when we're not on the court. So that aspect I didn't really understand because we got COVID. I mean, we got tested 3 times a week. So I'm like, if everybody's coming negative, like, why can't y'all just give us like gym access to be in the gym? Like, we have till 10 o'clock at night to be in the gym. We'll finish practice at 6. I'll go get some food and come back and get some shots up. Like, I didn't understand that part of it, but they did a good job of making sure everybody was safe and everybody was doing what they had to do. So I couldn't argue with that.
In this past year, you have obviously a breakout season, you get 12 points per game, 4 rebounds, assist, and a steal. But what led to this breakout? Like, how are you able to come out with all the COVID stuff going on, with all the non-extra workouts you got to put in? How are you able to come out and play at this level this year?
Confidence, confidence from my freshman year to my sophomore year. That's the biggest deal. I kind of already knew what to expect going into my sophomore year. Again, I'm one of the only returning, I'm the highest leading scorer, one of the only returning, players that actually played a lot the year before. So, it was bringing that mentality to every practice with everybody. I'm trying to teach everybody, what they need to be doing better and getting everybody prepared for, the games that we're about to play and these teams that we're about to play. So confidence is really what led, the breakout year, and me being comfortable within, how I play and how teams were defending me really helped me have this breakout year.
And you also discussed a couple guys came on this team, but there's a huge guy that comes in to kind of form a dynamic duo with, and that's James. How do you guys get that bond? Because like you mentioned, there's not too much practices going on. You can't really kind of create that chemistry as quickly and as easily as typical. So how do you guys get that bond? And how are you guys able to go play at the level you two did together?
James is a funny guy. He always, for the most part, I have my car out there, so he was always asking me to drive him places. So we just created a bond off of that, There was some times where I had to wash his clothes for him, so I was doing that type of stuff. So, and then on the court, it just became natural. Me and him just had that, certain things that you can't teach. Me and him was able to connect on a whole nother level. So it was great playing with him, and I'm gonna miss him.
Then put your name in the transfer portal, and we know ultimately where you're ending up as UNLV. But what other schools were in the mix? Like, was there a number 2 option for you? Was there a couple of schools that are heavily with you? Like, walk us through the life in the transfer portal.
When I first hit the transfer portal, it was crazy. The first couple of weeks, it was crazy. I had, over like 15, 20 schools calling me. It was crazy. Like, it was, I'm not gonna say it was stressful, but it was a lot. There were certain days where I didn't feel like talking because I had been talking to a lot of people. But, that's just the whole process of it. But, pretty much my decision came down between UNLV, New Mexico, Cal Baptist, and Grand Canyon.
And those are all great schools. A lot of those involve brand new coaches, and that's where we're ending up with Coach Kruger at UNLV. So he comes in, and obviously it's a whole new look team. I think there's 2 or 3 returning guys and whatnot. The rest are all incoming guys. So how did he sell you on that? Like, how did he sell you on a program that has pretty much nothing that you can kind of back behind it? He's a brand new head coach. There's no one really returning. How was he able to sell you on that?
For the most, I actually didn't know this story until my dad told me, but when his dad, Lon Kruger, was at Kansas State, he recruited my dad when my dad was in high school. So, so my dad told me he remember, Coach Kevin when he was a little kid and him running around and him being at Kansas State. And he always felt like, even though my dad committed to Oklahoma, he said it was very hard because he knew he had some type of connection with Coach Kruger. But, then it all came back full circle. And now I'm sitting here, about to play for Coach Kruger now. But, he really sold me on, like there's nothing, like he understands what I have to go through because, his dad is his dad is an all-time great coach. My dad is an all-time great collegiate player. So, me and him kind of have both have something that we can both connect on based off of that. So, we have a lot of pressure on ourselves to go out there and perform and do what we do because of who our dad is. And it's a challenge that's a challenge that we're ready to accept and a challenge that we're ready to prove to everybody that we can do.
That's an interesting point you made. I know a lot of guys that Coach Kruger's brought in have some kind of connection. Obviously, there's a lot of Big 12 guys coming into the school, but obviously we do know Coach Kruger, Coach Lone Kruger is going to have some impact out there. So just kind of being with that family name, having the knowledge of Coach Kruger with you, obviously Coach Kevin Kruger as well. Like, what's this going to be like learning from the type of guys in that team environment?
It's going to be great. These guys are high level guys. They come from they came from the Big 12, high level competition. So being able to pick their brain and figuring out what I need to do better, how can I be better, what positions they're going to put me in to be successful, and how can I maintain those positions is going to be very it's something I'm so excited for. Like, I can't wait to get out there and pick their brain and learn everything that I'm going to learn from those guys. So hopefully it comes quicker because I'm ecstatic and excited to get out there.
So have you got to talk to them yet? I know you and David were the newest members to this team, but have you got to talk to Donovan or Jordan or Victor or Royce or any of them yet?
Um, I talked to Jordan a couple of days ago. It's always like, I mean, I don't know if he remembers, but I know I remember. I played with him at Pangos camp my sophomore year, going into my junior year. So I mean, I kind of remember him a little bit. Who else? Royce played with my dad's team. So Royce played with my dad's team when I was a freshman in high school.
Okay.
So being able to play with him is going to be crazy because, like, I didn't play with him. I saw him play. I was sitting on the bench watching him play, and now I get to actually play with him. So that's going to be interesting. I haven't got to talk to Donovan yet. I've talked to Victor before, solely because of he's in the Dallas area, and there's a kid that that he stays with a kid that I'm close with and been close with since middle school and high school. So I've always seen him around growing up, throughout my high school career. So being able to just catch up with those guys is going to be fun, and I can't wait to create a bond with those guys.
I'm talking to Coach Kruger, like, what does he expect from you? Obviously, you're going to come in one of the younger guys out of all the new additions, but what does he want you to bring to the team next year?
He wants me to do what I do best. He knows I can shoot and score the basketball. He wants me to come in there, don't shy away from anything. He wants me to go, he's not promising me anything. Like I don't want, and that's great from him because I don't want him to promise me anything. I want to be able to go take it and take what I want. So, him having that trust in me and him believing in what I'm capable of doing, shooting, scoring the basketball, being able to defend, the point guard in the two guard position, is something he's really expecting out of me. So, I'm excited for that challenge and I can't wait.
So we still know there's a lot more roles and openings still on this roster, especially after Arthur Kaluma obviously decided not coming here anymore. So what are you guys looking at? Do you know anyone that you guys are recruiting, or is there anyone that even you would say that you kind of would like to play with that UNLV could be looking at?
I don't know, man. I really don't. Pretty much all the guys that I would say they already went to a school. So pretty much I don't really know. I don't know what they're trying to do, but I know what they do is going to be the right decision because as you see, we're trying to build a powerhouse over here. One thing they sold me on was, we're not trying to rebuild. We're trying to win now. And so something I really love because I want to win now. I don't want to have to go through the real rebuild process. I want to win a Mountain West championship. I want to go play in the tournament. I want to go far in the tournament. So, I trust in those guys that they'll make the right move and we'll be ready.
And the Mountain West is a conference I'm super high on. I know it's not necessarily a high major or whatnot, but it's one of the better, if not the best, mid-major conferences. And you're going to get 2 or 3 team bid in that conference. So how excited to be a part of that conference?
I'm so excited. I felt like coming out of high school, this is somewhere that I feel like this is a conference that I should have been at, but everybody has their own choices and own ways of thinking. So now that I'm finally being able to have this opportunity, I'm definitely not gonna take it for granted. I'm gonna attack every day. I'm ready to play in the Mountain West, and I can't wait. Being able to play against San Diego State and Boise State and all those type of teams is going to be great, and I can't wait.
UNLV fans are a proud fan base. They have a lot of history. We know obviously they haven't been horrible the past few years, but it hasn't been domination. It hasn't been like they used to do back in the day. So what will it take for this program to come out here and eventually regain the dominance or be a team that's contending in the Mountain West, but also the entire country year in, year out?
It's everybody having that mindset on, we're trying to win. It's nothing individual here. If everybody has the mindset on we're trying to win games and trying to win championships, then everything else will take care of itself. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't win individual accolades if we're not winning. That's just how life is. This is how this game is. So everybody has to have that mindset of like winning is the most important thing when you come here. Like forget what you're trying to accomplish. Like we understand everybody has goals. Everybody has goals they're trying to accomplish, but you can't accomplish those goals without winning. So if everybody has that mindset of, we want to win first and everything else will take care of itself, then I believe this program can get back to where it was back then.
Absolutely, man. Well, a few more things before I let you go. If there's one word you could use to describe yourself, the entire package, both on and off the court, what would that one word be?
Goofy. I'm goofy, bro. I love having fun. I love laughing. I love everything. I just love being goofy. It's just, I'm pretty sure everybody, if you ask anybody, that's one word they would describe me as too. I'm just a goofy dude. I just like to have fun, especially when I'm on the court, because, everything about this life is about having fun. Life is too short. You know what I'm saying? So it's only right that you come out every day with a big smile on your face and you make the most out of the day. You never know, your smile may impact somebody else's day. You know what I'm saying? Like they may be having a bad day, and your smile or your laughter could, um, help their day out. So, that's one word I would describe myself as, and hopefully I can keep that word.
Absolutely, man. Well, something I was like wrapping up discussing is building a legacy for yourself. So when you are done playing basketball someday, what do you want to be remembered for what you achieved both on and off the court?
On the court, I want to be remembered as a guy that gave us all every time he went out there. I never sold myself short. Every time I went out there, it was to compete and win at the highest level. That's all I want to be remembered as, is a guy that never took days off, and every time he stepped on that court, he gave it his all. And people can respect it if you give it your all every day. So that's hopefully something I can be remembered as. And off the court, man, I just remembered as a great teammate. He was a great teammate. He was a great guy to be around. He always held me accountable. He always was there for me when he needed me most. That's something that I hope every teammate that I've had can say about me, that I was a great teammate. And that's something that if I hear that I'm a great teammate, it's something I'll cherish forever, because you having those relationships, relationships go on throughout life. This game, eventually I'm gonna stop playing this basketball game, but if I can have great relationship with a lot of these guys, there's a lot of great things you can do in this world. And so that's hopefully something I can be remembered as.
Absolutely, man. I know you're also a believer, so kind of discuss your faith a little bit. How has God helped get you to the point you're at today?
I wouldn't be here without my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Growing up in a household where we believe in Jesus Christ very heavily. It was always right. I pray before every game. I pray after every game. I pray before I go to sleep. It's the right thing to do. There's nothing can beat prayer. You know what I'm saying? So, having my parents, and I always say, like, my grandmother is the wisest person I know. She knows best, and every time I need to ask her about something, I'll call her, and she'll pray for me. So, having that great faith-based family, takes you so far, because a lot of days when you're stressed out, if you just pray, I promise you that all that stress will go away. So, I'm a great firm believer, and hopefully I can help those who need to get to the point where I am, that I can help them get to that point.
Growing up in a Christian family too, obviously you kind of grown into it, kind of merged in it right from the get-go. But when for you would you say you kind of formed that own relationship with God? Like, when did it start really happening where you started panning off and you had that own connection with God? Like, when did that start happening for you?
My senior year, when I left home,
Mm-hmm.
is when it really started, because I don't get to see my family every day. I can call them. It's not the same thing as seeing them. So, a lot of those, days where I was like, I had to pray every day, because, there were certain things that I didn't understand and why it was going on. But, when you pray to God and you ask him to help you out, 100% of the time he helps you out. So, it's just believing in him and believing in and knowing what he's capable of doing. And so that was able to, that's really when my faith became stronger. It was the first time I left home.
Now, as you get a larger and larger profile, obviously you spent 2 years in college. Now you got 3 more if you want to use all of them at UNLV. But how do you plan to be able to continue to spread God's word and be his light out there in Las Vegas, but also the entire country as you continue to go throughout basketball?
I'm gonna continue to be myself. I feel like being myself is the best way to, show people, how God works in mysterious ways. So every single day I'm gonna continue to be my fun, loving, goofy self every day. So as long as I continue to do that, I believe people will follow, and I believe that the younger generation as well will follow. So I will continue being myself every day and keep giving God all the glory.
Amen, man. Well, my final thing for you, give UNLV fans your 3 biggest goals you have set for your UNLV career.
Win a Mountain West championship, go to the tournament, go to the Sweet 16. There will be a third one. I don't really know the third one. Those are the 2 main ones right there. Is winning the Mountain West championship and making it to the Sweet 16 at the tournament. Those are my 2 main goals right there. I don't know if I really have a third one. Those are the only 2 I can think of.
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations on the big move once again. Appreciate you taking time to come on today, and I look forward to seeing what God got next for you, man.
I appreciate you.
Of course, you're welcome on, man. God bless.
Thank you.